how are things? I suppose happy Christmas to everybody. It is now Christmas time, so I'm sure you're flat out preparing for Santa Claus and Christmas presents and nights out. But yeah, so the main reason you're here, I suppose, is for this webinar, because this is designed to help you make your money last through the Christmas period. That's the ebook you downloaded, and you're here just for an explanation of the template and how to create a budget over the Christmas period. So we will help you with that on this webinar for sure. Just first thing, I have got the thing called the man flu, and I am sneezing, coughing like crazy, so forgive me through the webinar if I am coughing and sneezing. So apologies in advance for that. Just a quick, I suppose, introduction for me, for any of you who have not seen my website, themoneymaximizer.com. So my name is Jeremy Blake. I'm a financial advisor from Ireland, Galway, as a matter of fact. What I do is I help people maximize the potential of their income. Whether that income is big or small, it doesn't really matter. We all work very hard for the money we earn. We all pay more than enough of tax on it. So why not maximize the potential of every euro or dollar that goes into your bank account on a weekly or a monthly basis? So I have developed a money maximizing system which I teach to all my clients, and what that system does is it teaches the clients to automate their bank accounts that will enable them to, number one, pay for all their direct debits comfortably over the year, on a monthly basis, that they're comfortably covered. Number two, that they're saving on a regular basis. That's a huge one. Number three is that they cut out all unnecessary bad spending habits and impulse buys without significantly reducing the lifestyle that they want to live, which is very important. And number one is I have them prepare for events that are happening down through the year. What I mean by that is weddings, hen parties, stag parties, kids going back to school, and the big one, Christmas time. So as we all know, Christmas is a huge time that people spend money. So that's what we'll be going through here. We'll be explaining this. This course, this webinar, I was going to charge you €100, €99 for it, but because it is Christmas time, I'm going to give it for free. I have another course coming down the line in early January which teaches the Money Maximizer system from start to finish. Also I'm launching a Money Maximizer budgeting app which will be free with the course as well, and that will be going on in January. That basically helps kind of stop people living paycheck to paycheck and helps them to get in control of their financial life and finally start getting ahead. So I will let you inform me in January about that. But just back on the ebook that you downloaded. So just basically, just give a basic summary of the ebook. So Christmas time, we all live different lives, but there's one thing that we all have in common at Christmas time. We all spend a lot of money, and our bank account gets a lot of outflow of funds because there's so much things going on. You're going out to Christmas parties, you're buying Christmas presents, you're just probably overspending and overindulging, and you can lose run yourself really unless you become prepared. But that can lead to a lot of stress and anxiety, especially in January, because January coming down the line, people don't realise it, but you've still got all your direct debits that come out in January. As well as that, you might have your car insurance, your car tax, you might have gym membership, health insurance. All these things could be renewed in January, so you have all these extra things on it, and then you go out at Christmas time and you have a good time and you get paid, and you come along, New Year's Eve finishes, and all of a sudden, boom, you have direct debits bouncing. And this happens to people who have pretty good salaries. It can happen to people with pretty good salaries or pretty low salaries. just if you don't mind your money. Like a lot of people who are on high salaries get paid maybe the mid-December around when they get holidays. So they might get paid on maybe the 20th. So they have to go from the 20th of December to the end of January before they get their next paycheck, which is a long, long time. And in that meantime, they're buying Christmas presents, they're going out there enjoying themselves. And if you don't have money in your bank account, you might have it in savings, but if you don't have money in your current account, this January is going to be a very stressful period because you're going to have direct debit bouncing, you're going to have banks and insurance companies ringing you up going, sorry sir, your direct debit is bounced, and then you reapply and it's all messy and stressful. So that's why it's very important to prepare for this period, and that's why I've created this mini budget. And as I was saying, the things I've created the mini budget, there was 4 things that was said that you need to do homework on. Number 1, you have to find out all your direct debits, so you can get that by printing out your statements or going online and going into your 365 or whatever your bank account is and checking all your direct debits and finding out when they come out in the month. If they come out in the first, if they come out in the last of the month, either way it's going to affect you at Christmas time because you'll be spending a lot coming up to New Year's Eve as well. Or if it's the 1st of January, you'll have everything spent and you may not be getting paid for another 6 weeks. So nights out, you should plan your nights out, write down when you're going out and how much you're going to spend, a budget for that. Christmas shopping, huge thing, like how much you spend on Christmas shopping. People go in and it's a time of giving, which is great, and everything. People go in and they overindulge, they overspend on Christmas presents when they can't really afford it, and they're trying to keep up with the Joneses, buying these very expensive presents for a lot of the times, unnecessarily, that you can't really afford. It's putting huge stress and burden on that person coming into January. So that is why it's very important to do this budget, because you can see what you can afford, and what it will do is it will flag up any cash flow problems before they occur. So you will do this now. It's now the middle of January, so the template that I have, it starts on the 8th of January, which is a Friday, and goes until the last Friday of January. So you can fill it in whenever you start. You can fill it in there, but it will flag up where you're going to run into cash problems if you are, and if you are, it will prompt you into taking action on that. Whether that is getting your rainy day savings, if you have any, if you have to, to get you over, stop direct debits bouncing, maybe borrow money from a short-term loan from a credit union, etc., etc. So just to help you guys to explain the template which you have downloaded, I'm sure, from the ebook. There is a template. You can either print it out and write it up manually and tot it up yourself, or just tot in the figures here. So to help me explain this better, I'm going to just go through the spreadsheet with you, explain it on my computer in a second now, which will explain what the template is about, how it works, and I will do 2 examples of 2 people in 2 separate circumstances. One that gets paid monthly, one that gets paid weekly, one that has a pretty good salary, one that has a moderate salary. So it will hopefully, you will be able to understand where the numbers go and how to fit in the template yourself.
Okay guys, this is the spreadsheet that you're going to be filling out to get in control of your money over Christmas and ensure that you don't overspend and that you get through the Christmas period without experiencing cash flow problems. So the sheet there's 4 tabs. If you look down the bottom, there is a sheet that you calculate your nights out. There's a sheet for Christmas presents. There's a sheet for direct debits, and there is a budget summary. From the ebook, you can either print these out on PDF format, or you can do it here, fill in the spreadsheet. So I'll just go through the spreadsheet here. So what you do in this sheet here is you put in the date, you put in the occasion, you put in the cost. So whatever that cost is. So let's say, for instance, you look at your diary over the 8 weeks of Christmas, and you put in, we'll say St. Stephen's Day, Christmas Day, your Christmas party, etc. All the nights that you plan to go out, put them down here, put the estimated cost down here as well, and put the date. Christmas presents, same as all the recipients, put them down here. The type of presents, whether it's clothes, perfume, toys, etc., toiletries, whatever, put it down here and put the cost of the present, and it'll be totted down here. Again, if you were doing this if you just print this out, you'll have to tot up this figure yourself, but it's done here automatically. Your direct debits, the best way of doing this is to print out a bank statement and see when the date of your direct debits are coming in. So all your direct debits should be put down here. So your rent, your mortgage, your Netflix, broadband, etc. should be all put down here and the date beside it, and the amount will be tatted up there as well. So then they should all be done first, these three things here. And as well, you should, from the ebook, you should know when you're going to be paid, how much you're going to be paid over the Christmas period. So here then on the summary sheet, or the budgeted cash flow, I have done here, I have the, usually people get paid on a Thursday. So this is the 8th of December is a Friday, because you might be paid Thursday, you might not hit your bank account until Friday. So this is every Friday for the 8 weeks. So the 28th is the 26th of January is the last Friday in January, which is probably, anyone that's paying monthly will probably have to wait from maybe here to there before you get your next paycheck, which is a long time. So how you fill out this spreadsheet then, you have your income, which is filled out here whenever you're getting paid. You have your expenditure, which you list out all your direct debits, which you can take from this sheet here. You list them all down here, so you just write in mortgage, whatever, you itemize them out. When the dates come in, if it's here, or if it's on the 5th of January, whenever it is, if it's the end of January or the end of the month, you put it there. Then you have other bills here that may not be direct debit. These all go in here. You have your ad hoc bills. This will be for January. Let's say, for instance, car insurance. I know for myself personally, I have to pay car insurance of about €200, or car tax about €200 here. If you pay your car insurance up front, that will come out here. So that will make a huge effect to your cash flow in January, because you will have spent pretty heavy in December and you'll have a big outflow in January, so you have to plan for that. Your food, groceries and shopping, whatever that weekly is, it'll probably be a bit more in December, coming up to Christmas, or for Christmas Day. If you have a family and you're buying for them, it'll be more. Your Christmas presents then, that will come from your sheet over here, and when you plan on buying them, you just fill this out along the way whenever it is. Say for me as well personally, I do usually try and wait to spend, if I'm buying anything for myself, I try and wait until the January sales start after St. Stephen's Day to go buying. So there. Same your nights out, taken from this sheet here, so you get the dates whenever they are and fit them in along here. And other spending, whichever spending is that, I usually put in, just to put a bit of fat on the numbers, put in maybe whatever, 50 or 100 euros, whatever that is in there, whatever your spending is. So then that's a total expenditure. So this figure adds up all for the week, all your expenditure. This is your total income. And then this figure here, your total income minus total expenditure, is what's left after everything that you spent when you take your income away from your expenditure. Okay, so then you go down here and you go, so for the first week you have to put in your opening balance, so whatever's in your bank account before you get paid. So let's say, for instance, you have 500 euros, as I put just down in there, that 500 euro is your opening balance. So then that is either added or subtracted to whatever. If you've overspent, it's taken away. If it's added, it is added on. So let's say, for instance, here, if we just say, for instance, you had 100 euros. So you've now, you got no income and you are won 100 euros, you spent 100 euros. So now that that has to come out of your current account savings that you have in there. So then your closing balance after that week will be €400. So that €400 then becomes your opening balance for the next month, and so on, all the way along until the end of the Christmas period, until you get your next paycheck or whatever. So that's just an explanation of the spreadsheet. You can either, if the formulas, I've the kind of the calculations explained there. If you're doing it, printing it out. If you're printing it out, you will have to tot up these with a calculator, but if not, these formulas will be done for you. So I'll just dive straight into, I'll do two examples of John and Mary, who have two different circumstances, two different lifestyles. So that'll help you explain it a bit more to you guys. Okay guys, the first example we'll use is John. But just on that, everybody's circumstances are different. Some people are married, some people are single, some people are paid monthly, some people are paid weekly. So it's very hard. So I'll just do two examples here, which will give you an indication of how to work out the numbers. That's basically what it's for. So everyone's circumstances is different. It's practically impossible for me to do it for everybody, but here goes. I'll just do John. So John who's 35 years of age, works as an accountant. He's paid monthly, he's engaged, he's no kids, and he lives a pretty good lifestyle. So John filled out this sheet here. He is planning on going, he has his Christmas party on the 9th. He has he's at the gym Christmas party on the 9th. He has work Christmas party on the 16th. He has 2 other nights in the town, St. Stephen's Day, the Saturday night before New Year's Eve, and New Year's Eve. That's him done for the Christmas, and he's saying his average spend is €200 a night. So that's going to cost. So the Christmas nights out are going to cost him €1,400. So that's what he's filled out. That's what he's going for. So when we go back into this sheet, we'll see whether he can afford that or not. But that's what he's planning on doing. So then Christmas presents. So he just puts in all of his mother, his father, his brother, who he got the Kindle for, all his nieces and nephews, and work voucher for people at work and others. So the type of it, then you have clothes, footwear, etc. And it's just broken down into the actual figures for what it's going to cost. So John reckons he's going to spend €1,340 on presents. So we'll see, can he afford that? His direct debits then as well. All his direct debits here. He has his mortgage. He has car loan, life cover, mortgage protection, savings. He's a lot of direct debits here. And he has himself organised because he has done the Money Maximizer system, which is, I'm doing a course in January, which I will let you know on it as well. But this teaches people about automating your finances. So he has done very well, and all his direct debits come out in the first of the month. So he's quite a lot of direct debits, by the way. And all his direct debits together. And by the way, direct debits include savings. So a few savings, so he's saving he's saving 10% of his salary as savings. So that's going into savings, another part of the Money Maximizer system. But anyway, so that's him there. That's all his direct debits. So then we just input all this into his budget summary. So from here, as you can see, John gets paid. John already got paid in the first at the end of the month, which he has already. So he's got paid maybe the last Friday of November. So that's in already. So we can't put that here. So his next paycheck is the 22nd. He's getting holidays on the 22nd. So he's getting, instead of getting his paycheck here, which would be normal, the Friday, he is getting it here. So he has another week to go as per usual. He's another week to go in comparison than his usual way before he gets his next paycheck. So if you look at it here, he gets paid on the 22nd. So he has 1, 2, 3, 4. He's to wait nearly 5 weeks before he gets his next paycheck. So although 3,000 isn't bad, it's a pretty good salary. 5 weeks is a long time, especially during the Christmas. So like that as well, all John's direct debits are put down here, which he has got from his spreadsheet here. So John's direct debits come out at the start of the month. So January is going to be a big month for John. So he's really going to have to mind this, because all his direct debits have come out from December. So they're gone, they're paid for, and they haven't bounced. So that's great. But so he has all these direct debits, which is a lot of them here, which are coming out in January. He's another bill there, 70 quid. Just say that's just a normal, some other bill. And he has an ad hoc bill, which is his car tax. So he has car tax coming out there. So he's his car insurance monthly, but he's paying his car tax in January. It's due in January. So he is paying 50 quid a month or a week on food, and he's 150. That's probably for the Christmas dinner. And he has his Christmas presents. So he's put in the figures here for his Christmas presents. So the thing about it is, guys, here he is 1,400 euros. So that actually has to be changed. So that's because the total is 16, so that's 1,400. So that's 600 there he puts in. So John reckons he's going to go on the 15th. He's going to spend 300. He's going to spend 600 on the 22nd. Once he gets his pay for Christmas, he's going to go out and he's going to go. He's about 400 or 500 quid himself there, which he's going to spend. He's going to buy a suit for himself for work, and a bit more in the sales. Just the day after St. Stephen's Day. So then on his nights out, you pull this from over here. You get the dates and you fit them in where they are appropriate. So he is, as you can see there, he has 2 big weeks of socializing and dancing the night away here, and same thing in January for New Year's Eve and the day before New Year's Eve, and he's on the drive for January. So he's probably going to go out here, so we'll just put in something there under the end of January maybe. Again, guys, these numbers are estimates. The great thing about this, it's a budget, so you have to make the numbers work. If you can't afford something, you have to just mess about with the numbers to make the numbers work. Okay, so let's say other spending. So let's just put in another 100 euros there. So let's say for just normal living during the Christmas, he's another 100 euros there for petrol or whatever. So again, only rough numbers. They don't have to be exact. They just give you a rough guide. So we'll say here now for John, he's no income in the Friday the 8th. He's a few bills. He's a bit of grocery shopping. Christmas hasn't really started. He hasn't started shopping. He hasn't went out. He spent 100 euros on petrol and bits and bobs. So he has spent 220 euros. But because he's no income, that's 220 quid that he that has to come out of his bank account. So what is his opening bank account? So he has 1,500 euros in his current account. So that goes in there as he has there, 1,500 euros. So then 1,500 euros minus the 220. So his closing balance after that spending of that week is 1,280. So that then becomes the opening balance of the second week. So he goes up on the second week, and the same thing with the second week. So he spent 700 quid that week because he went out. So now he's only 560 in the bank. So 560 is the opening balance. But now he's getting paid this month. So a bit of inflow, which is badly needed cash inflow. So now he has 600 left over after he's getting paid. That's added to what's in his bank. So he's 2,400. So now 2,400 goes here. He's doing a lot of spending. So he's no income. So that's coming down. So he's 2,400 in the bank minus what he spent. So he's 1,120 left over. Now, just take out this for a second. So up here then, this is the start of January. So this is where John is going to get into huge problems if he's not careful. All these direct debits will bounce if he doesn't have enough money in his current account. So if you look down here, all he has is 1,120 in his bank account on this month when all these are going to hit. But yet the whole lot of his direct debits and his bills and his going outs is going to cost 2,615. So John has options here. He can either go into his savings plan that's not in his current account this week and transfer 1,400 euros or 1,500 euros in here to cover these bills. Or he can go up here and he can cut down on his spending. But as John has put a nice bit of money away in savings, because he has been in the money maximizer system and he's planned for this, so he's saved a few pounds for Christmas. So this is when he is going to transfer money from a savings plan into his current account to cover these direct debits. Okay, so then he comes along, still no income. He's finishes going out, and now he's just tipping along normally, back to work, whatever. So he is still going to run out of money. So instead of transferring 1,500 euros here, we will transfer 2,000. So then he has 500 euros left over here after all his direct debits. This goes up here. So with that bit of spending that he's doing in January, he's 285 left over. That 285 will cover his spending. So he's 65 left over. 65 left over, and then boom, he gets his 3 grand. So as you can see, guys, there, even though he's a pretty okay salary, he has a few weeks there of sailing close to the wind. And if he did not have his 2 grand transferred in there, he would be getting a lot of phone calls in January about all these things. His rent, his car loan, all these things would be in trouble and could actually bounce. So this exercise has saved John the embarrassment and the hassle and the stress of all these things happening. So John now can transfer this money in either here or back here if he really wants to, and his money will flow. So he just has to keep an eye on these things up here. The most things he has to keep an eye on up here is his Christmas shopping, that it doesn't go over this amount, his nights out, that he doesn't go crazy, and other spending, and he will be okay. He will have got through the Christmas without having any real cash flow problems, and will have been able to enjoy the Christmas, buy the presents, have his few drinks, and enjoy himself. Okay, guys, the next example here is Mary. So Mary's 27 years of age. She works in hotel and catering. She gets paid weekly, and she's getting married next year. She's no kids. So sorry guys, I forgot to fill in this, but you know how to fill in this. She just fills in her nights out, and it's started up, and the Christmas presents and her direct debit. So she's all that done. So she doesn't have many direct debits here. So basically, Mary gets 500 euros a week. So her cash flow problems will not be as bad as John, because John has to wait. John gets this big wad of money here in the 22nd, and the next one is the 26th of January. But Mary gets her pay. She gets paid weekly, which is not as bad for her, but she still has to manage it. Mary doesn't have as big a lifestyle as John, so all her outgoings really is she has rent of 450. She pays her phone, which is on, so the rent comes out at the end of the month, and her phone and broadband at the start of the month, Netflix at the end of the month, TV channels, Sky comes out at the end of the month, electricity the same way, and she's getting oil in January as well, and she is going to pay her car. Sorry, that's the other way around, I would say. That's probably 1,000 there. So her car insurance is €1,000 a year, and she's going to pay the car insurance and tax. She doesn't like her like direct debit, so she pays these up front. So as you can see straight away here, Mary has a big outflow in January. Yeah. So as we can see here from the sheet over here, which I forgot to fill out, apologies about that, but Mary she is only going to spend €100 a night. That's her deal. So she with all her Christmas parties, she's a night out here, she's a night out here, and these are Christmas presents. She's going to spend 100. So she's going to spend $750 on her presents, broken down into all of what she knows. Her nights out, she is planning on spending this amount if the numbers work. So she's planning on spending $650 over the Christmas. I'll just give her an all night out here as well. 70. She'd be twitching for a few drinks if she stays off at that length until January. But anyway, other spending in, just put in 50 quid for, she doesn't have a car, she does have a car, so that's her petrol or whatever there. So, we better put in a bit more. Better put in €100 there a week, just to make sure that we're not undercooking it for her. So then Mary has her income 500. She's spent 370 here, so she's 130 left over. So she has 500 in the bank. So she has 630 left over. 630 starts up here. She's 80 left over after she spends all the money. So that becomes 710. 710, she's 100 left over. 810. 810, now she has to pay her rent and all that, and the whole shebang going out. So now she's 700 in the rate. So she has to take a big wad out of her current account, which means she's only €82 left over. So now, with her current spending that she has planned, in the start of January, she is going to be €1,000 out of pocket. The reason being is because she has €1,200 coming out for her car insurance and her car tax. Now, what is Mary's options here? Number one, she can put that as a direct debit. She has to pay her car tax up front, or she can pay it quarterly or whatever if she really wants to, if she's really stuck. Or she can transfer 1,100. She has to do more because it's going on, but let's say she transfer 2,000 from another savings plan into her current account. So then that will cover it. So everything will be fine again. But what if she doesn't have that? So she is going to, she's €1,000 there, and she's going to run into trouble because even when she gets paid next week, direct debits are going to bounce. She's not going to have any money. She's going to have a really stressful January. So then you go up here and you go, all right, where can we cut off nights out? If you really have to, she has to cut back here. So, Christmas presents. Okay, I'm afraid, Mary, that your little St. Stephen's Day or your little St. Stephen's Day sale of buying the Louis Vuitton bag is out. So now let's look at the numbers down here. So you're still €788 down. So up here again. Okay, nights out. So, okay, we're going to have to cut that down by €100 because you can't afford to go out. We're going to have to, what else can we cut down here? See, these are non-negotiable. These have to be paid. That's the thing. You don't want these things bouncing. So, these are Mary's options. So now you can see Mary is in trouble. So if she doesn't do anything until on the 5th of January, she's going to be in awful trouble. She's going to have direct debits bouncing here. She's going to be really stressed out. So she either has to do a couple of things. She has to try and get 700 euros somewhere. She can either go into the credit union and get a loan, which is not the way to do it, by the way, because you pay interest on that. But short term, Mary has not used the money maximizer system, so she hasn't prepared for this. So she will probably have to get either an overdraft or a loan to get her over this hill. But the one thing about doing this is at least she knows it now, back here, before this happens, before the problem starts. So she can go into her credit union and get a loan or borrow that money as somebody and pay them back when in February, March, when things pick up right again. Because as you can see, she is not overspending here until, and see here now, Mary again in January, she thinks she's going to have a good night out, but she just can't afford it, I'm afraid. So Mary can't go spending here either. Yeah, so Mary's going to have to get more money here. So she's going to get 1,000 euros while she's at it to get it over. So you can see there, if Mary gets 1,000 euros of a loan, even if she gets it here, we'll say, goes in now and gets it. She will have that money. She'll have 700 euros back in the January because she's getting paid weekly. She's income coming in all the time. But that just shows you guys, we'll all experience cash flow problems unless we watch. What if Mary doesn't do this exercise and she goes crazy on the nights out, buying shots for everybody, and she's spending big money here? She's an awful bother. Same way with her presents. She's like, Mary hasn't gone crazy with presents here at all, but yet she is struggling. So this is stress that Mary does not need. But at least by doing this exercise, she can plan in advance. She can get that 1,000 euros that's going to get her over the Christmas. She will never be too much in bother, and she can enjoy it. As I said to you, Mary needs to get on to the money maximizer system, do my online course, and this time next year be prepared to have a few pounds aside that will cover these cash flow problems. So that's Mary. As I said to you, I haven't done anything about kids. If you have kids, you can completely customize these sheets. Just go in here yourself and add in. If you have kids, if you have more Christmas presents there, because if children, it's going to be more. If you are have got a spouse that you need more to buy him a present or whatever, that all goes in there. But that's just to give an example of how these spreadsheets work. So hopefully you can do your individual one out yourselves. See you get on. Any questions, just give me a shout. You can hit me up on Instagram or send me an email and I'll get back to you.
Okay guys, that is the spreadsheets explained. Hopefully you will be able to fill out your own personal spreadsheet. As I said, everybody is different. It's awful hard, but to do examples for everybody. But as long as you know how to fill it out yourself. So commit to doing this, guys. Sit down for an hour, do out this spreadsheet. Guarantee you will feel better for it. You will learn a lot about your spending. You will see where your money is going over the Christmas. Just a few other things that I covered in the ebook that I want to maybe brush over about tips over the Christmas. Another thing is if you're buying online, remember that the present needs to travel to get to your home. So you don't want to be waiting for a present that you ordered online that doesn't come through until January and you're left red-faced. So just remember that, happened to me before. One other thing is for your January sales. Let's say, for instance, if you're buying for yourself, I personally try and wait until St. Stephen's Day to buy anything for myself like clothes or anything like that, because the prices come down hugely. All you have to wait is a few days and you get your clothes for a third of the price cheaper. So one other point is that I do personally, our family do personally. I come from a big family and with brothers and sisters, and it's tougher to keep buying everybody presents along with when they have nieces and nephews and all that kind of stuff. So we do the Chris Kindle thing where basically you just pick names on the hat and you pick out one and you buy a present, so, you know, a nice present for one person. So that's one way of kind of cutting down on a cost if you're struggling to pay for all the presents. One other very important that I learned myself as well is that children don't put a price on presents, so they can't tell the difference between an expensive present and a cheap present. You might spend €300 on a big expensive toy and they might play with a bottle of water. That's just the way, that's what I learned myself. So find out what they actually want, what toys they like, what cartoons they watch, and buy that. And you may not have to spend half as much as you think to buy a nice present for a child or niece or nephew or whatever. The other thing is going out, right? So basically, we all go out a lot at Christmas time. So my advice is, before you go out, go to the pass machine, budget what you're going to spend. Let's say if that's €100, €150, or whatever it is in the night out, take that out, spend it, and go home. Don't be there, like we all do it, I do it myself, but go in to the bar, have a few drinks, you think you're Donald Trump with your ATM card at the bar and you're buying for the whole pub, and you wake up in the morning with an empty pocket and a sore head. You don't want that, especially if you're struggling to get through the Christmas period with money. And the final thing there is to try avoid any borrowing. I know if you have to, you have to. Don't stress about it if you have to. You just have to do that. You know, the next year's a different year. You won't have to do it next year. But if you do, you do. But try and avoid it. If at all possible, try to avoid it. So, just I suppose the final thought I've said of eBook as well is whatever financial situation you are in, try not to stress about it too much. Like, you know, it's Christmas time. You know, like the best gift you can give any of your friends and family, or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your husband and wife or your kids, is your love and attention. And that costs nothing. Remember that costs nothing. So, you know, if you're healthy and you have all your friends around you, you know, there's a lot of the richest people in the world don't have that, and cannot buy it either with all the money that they have. So, you enjoy the company, be present with your friends and family, be there, you know, enjoy their company, have a laugh, play with your children, your nieces and nephews, your girlfriend, whatever, and enjoy this period, because, you know, it is a very fantastic time of year. Don't wish it by for next year. That's basically it. I'll be in contact with you in relation to my course that's coming in January, and just want to wish you a happy Christmas, and hopefully this webinar was a benefit to you. Okay, speak to you soon.